to bust some myths about property business. The property business is a very amazing business. It's very unique in all countries of the world. And a lot of people do this business, around the world without necessarily having to conform to a particular way of doing it. The property business is just like any other business. It's a skill, it's an investment, and it has a skill. You can learn the skill however you want it. Don't let anybody say that you have to do something in a particular way, because what works for Mr. A under several conditions might not work for Mr. B, because they are working under two different conditions. So some people have the privilege to have support systems, some are on benefits, some are not. So when they start property, the kind of thing they will do in property business will be different from one another. Some have family support, some are already born in the country, some are immigrants. So there are a whole lot of things. Some have access to capital, some don't. So it's important that as you be on the journey of your financial freedom, as you're beginning to move on your financial freedom, note what works for you and do it. So I cannot tell you what works for you. I'm only a property coach, and I'm sharing with you a few tips that I know. And I can bet you that you don't know everything in property. You only know as much as you know, because what you know about yourself is all you know. Your journey, where you're coming from, is all you know. You don't know what other people also know. So let other people speak their story. Say your story and let others speak their own story. The myth that I'll be sharing with you is what says you have to master all property skills. You don't have to master all the property skills to do property business. I'm telling you today, as a property investor myself, when I bought my first property, I only had somebody to guide me. I bought it myself, and I know a lot of friends and associates who bought their property by themselves. They learned some lessons along the line, but at least they were able to complete a deal. The only difference in an investment property and the property you're living in is that one will be generating money for you, the other one is more like a liability, because you have to work to pay off the money. So you're only gaining the other one is your equity, while the other one, your gain is the money you make from rent and also equity. So one gives you rent and equity, the other only gives you equity as your profit. But it's the same way you buy a residential property, you would also buy an investment property. But with investment property, you might need to be a little more knowledgeable. Don't cut a part of my video and come and quote me. Listen to all the things I said. The same way you bought a residential property, you use legals, you search on Rightmove or Zoopla, you said very well, you check your budget. It's the same thing you do for an investment property. But for investment property, if you get education, you can be more strategic on the location, how you should be. You learn about pricing, how to save on taxes and all. But in purchasing it will still be your own. Your profit might be different due to knowledge. So it's not true that you have to master all the property skills. You have to know all service accommodation. You have to know BRR. You have to do rent. And then I also found out that a lot of property coaches have good minds to train people, but sometimes they want to determine how they feel people should work, especially people who have their own mind. People who are already, they know what they are doing. So a lot of property coaches want to make everybody a deal sourcer or a rent-to-rent person. Have you asked the person what best suits them in their own situation? Have you asked them? Some people can be a deal sourcer because they don't have, maybe responsibility for kids. Maybe you have to take kids to school and go and pick kids. Some can do it because they are free, they're single. Some people have a job that they're doing or a business. They just need something on the side. So everybody's on different level. So you can leverage on the skills of others. The ones you know. The ones you don't know, you can leverage. You don't have to spend all your life learning all the If every successful business person in our world today had to go and learn all property skills, had to go and learn all the property skills. If all successful business person today have to go and learn all the property skills, at what point are they going to be free to succeed, to even enjoy the money? So you know as much as you can know. You leverage on the skill of the lawyer, of the solicitor, you leverage on the skill of the builder, other people. One of the greatest things about success is learning to work with people together, learning to combine skills, learning to work with different professionals, learning to put great minds together. It's not about you going to know everything. Time is going. Number two thing is that you can't raise finance from people. If you're trying to raise finance from people in property, it's Ponzi. That's a lie. In property business, you can raise amount of money as long as it's legal, as long as you're not going to the public to do crowdfunding without getting the FDA authority license, the license for that. But you can speak to people about your dream. Most of even property coaches will tell you go and find the money first before they do. So when it comes to certain people, they say, oh, you have this scheme. Everybody that ever got anything right, including big companies, including Facebook, they are running Facebook based on shareholders' money. You have the right to speak to, in fact, at a point, Kanye West went on X, which was then Twitter, and spoke to Mark Zuckerberg to invest in one of his business. He went on Twitter publicly. Fact check what I'm saying on Google. You can raise funds by any legal means, whether you through your family members, your neighbor, or your student. Don't forget that it's not all students that are broke. Some people come to learn under you does not mean they are not better than you financially. In my business in the past, in real estate and also in other businesses I've done, most of the people that have impacted my business positively, they came to learn first from me. So it's not true that you can't partner with people. Some people are blessed today, they have a lot by their own self. It does not mean that everybody starts at that level. Rome was not built in a day. So it's not a lie that you can raise funds from even your boss if you have a good relationship with your boss. It's about you having a vision, and then what do you do to your vision? You talk about it. You share your vision. What did Joseph do? When he had a dream, he shared his dream with his brothers. It's not true that if you can't have partners. Partnerships can come from anywhere. You just have to share your vision with people. After all, big companies are run on shares and stocks, which belongs to other people. So even governments sell bonds. They sell bonds. They sell all manner of securities for the public to buy, for them to run government. So what stops anybody from doing that? Another myth about property is that you are the only one who knows it all. Some people in property believe that if it doesn't work in their way, then the other people, they don't know what they're doing. How do you want to know what others have known? You only know your own self. You know your skill. You know your ability. How do you know what others have known? The journey they've been through, their sacrifices, where they've been to. How do you want to know someone because you are meeting them or you are seeing them? Have you not known that sometimes it will take you months or days to be with people before you truly know who they are? So what makes you think that you know everything and others know nothing because you are successful at something? So never underestimate the power of other people because you don't know who they are, you don't know what they've been through. You can only know your own self. You can only suggest to people. You cannot force people. So there's a saying: you can take the horse to the water, to the river, but you cannot force it to drink. You can't learn on the job. Another myth is that you can't learn on the job. You have to get somebody to teach you this, to teach you that. You can actually learn on the job. The first person who did property in the world, who taught the person. You know, a lot of people here, especially of the Asian, culture, who do a lot of property, but they cannot even speak Queen's English, and they are wealthy property investors. So whatever you cannot learn, you can also learn on the job. Once you know the first one, then you'll be able to do, like my mentor used to say in property, say you just need one experience, one BRR. You just need one investor like that. So once you have the first one, you'll be able to leverage on the other one. So it's possible to learn on the job. You might, as an investor, you might not want to give your money to someone who is learning on the job, but people do learn on the job. So that is why also, before you start a project, have a power team, belong to a group of people, a community that you can get support from them. But you don't have to know everything. The little you know, do it and ask for support. There are support everywhere. People are willing to support you. There are project managers that are registered that can help you sort all your building project from start to finish. There are building companies that you give your building to, they charge you and they'll do it. You don't have to be the one chasing the builder, chasing the bricks, chasing the electrician. So there are many ways you can go about it. It's not, one road does not lead to the market. So it is not true that you cannot raise finance. You can raise finance through any means that is legal. It's not true that you cannot learn on the job. It's not true that you cannot leverage on other people's knowledge. You can leverage on other people's knowledge to be able to achieve a goal. Get ready for our January property summit, which is happening in 3 locations live at the same time. It promises to be wonderful. The seats are getting very filled fast. I want you to be there. If you've been there before in our training, I don't think you should be in this one. Get your friends to be there in this one. It's going to be amazing. It's happening at the last week of January, Manchester, Cardiff, and London.